Hey everyone, this is Stephen. Welcome to Floixo's Getting Started webcast, where we'll get you up and running with Floixo with an introduction to its key features and benefits. By this point, you'll have signed up for a Floixo account and connected up your Messenger bot. You may have started building out some flows already, which is great. However, if so, you might consider turning them off for this session so as not to interfere with the ones that we'll build. A reminder, what is Floixo? Floixo is a complete platform for building, hosting and managing chatbots for messaging platforms such as Messenger, Slack and Telegram. It includes a visual editor to build bots without code. Everything is driven by a set of flows which you build with certain tasks. You can create and distribute your own bots which are owned and branded by you but controlled and hosted by Floixo. I'm running this cast live so that I can maximize your time and provide everything you need to get started right in this session. Let's solve any queries or give any guidance you need right away. There's live chat, so by all means get talking to the team and I over on the right. Okay, down to business.
My example business for today is the bot store. The bot store sells a range of bot requirements, oil, memory and computer chips, and have a Facebook page in place. Some more context, the bot store want to communicate with customers better, provide a more engaging experience, divert basic queries away from the resource intensive phone line, and ultimately sell more. So let's put a bot in place that helps them achieve that. If you got my email, you should have your bot in place by now, and Messenger open and ready to go, as well as Gmail, Google Sheets, and of course, Floixo. Let's take a closer look at our setup. I have Floixo, I have Gmail, I have Messenger, and I've also got Google Sheets. You'll need a sheet set up like this. I'll give you a couple of minutes to get that in place. 3 columns, response path, name, quote word or phrase, and 1 line of data in place. So, like you, I already have my bot in action here in Messenger. I'll click Get Started to get him ready for conversation. He'll introduce himself, but he won't do much else yet. So let's change that. Here we are at the flow dashboard. Let's consider what kind of flows we want to build to meet our objectives and the features we'll look at. Well, first of all, we want to consider general bot conversation, asking questions and providing a rich context experience to the end user. We'll look at the attributes service to track information about the customer who interacts with the bot. We'll look at using Floixo's 94 and counting service integrations to superpower your bot. And we'll also look at incorporating live human-agent interaction through the Messenger interface, getting all the value of a bot for simple queries and relying on tried and tested human support where required. And finally, we'll look at responding when the bot doesn't understand something through a catch-all and improving the bot experience. Let's get started building out our flows. The simplest possible application of a bot is to answer a set of questions. Let's build a flow to answer a common FAQ, how to find us. First, I'll trigger on how to find us with the new message trigger. And the simpler where. Then, I'll ask a question. And I'm just going to ask a simple text-based question with a text-based response. Alternatively, I might want to offer the user a set of choices that they can pick from. And the question I want to ask is, what's your postcode? And now I can incorporate some rich content. A reply as a messenger card with with a send a card action incorporating an image and a dynamic link courtesy of Google Maps. We're going to generate some directions based on the given postcode, which is the customer's answer, and we'll be using a special URL from Google. Finally, you must remember to turn the workflow on and just make a small adjustment to make sure that in here I'm giving the answer that the customer gave us. Let's try that out in Messenger. I'll trigger on the keyword where. I'll give my postcode. And I'll be given some directions from Google Maps. Back in FlowXO, this is a good opportunity to introduce FlowXO's logs. They're here under options. You can see that whenever a flow runs, we'll get an analysis of all the inputs that were given to each task and all of the outputs that resulted. We'll also see any error cases, so this is an invaluable tool for analysing out flows and understanding how data is moving through your interactions and for problem solving. So that's our first flow in place, and it's already up and running in Messenger. You can see how easy it was to set that up, and you can see how easily I could copy this flow and trigger on other flows to answer simple questions. For now, we'll build a brand new flow. It's useful to keep track of customer interactions. Eventually, you might want to perform some analytics. You can keep track of customer responses and preferences through FlowXO's attributes service. Attributes act like a counter, how many times someone has visited, or a flag, someone said a specific word. Let's assume we have a customer that asked the bot 3 times about a specific product, in this case, oil. We'd like to make an offer to customers that come and ask us about this product regularly. So let's call this flow product inquiries oil. First, we'll trigger on the keyword oil. Next, we'll set an attribute as soon as this flow is triggered. We can call the attribute oil and specify the value as +1. This creates the attribute for the specific customer and sets it to 0 initially, but increments it by 1 every time this flow is run. Then we'll immediately retrieve the same attribute so that we can use its value in this flow. I just need to give its name to retrieve it. We'll keep the interaction immersive by sending a message introducing the content. And then we'll give some rich content again in the form of the products we have for offer under oil. We'll send a card set. we'll send a message and we'll send a card, but we're going to make these conditional based on the attribute value. So in this case, we know that's the number of times this flow has been triggered, and the specific customer has mentioned oil. Again, we've got to turn this flow on. And let's have a look at running this flow in Messenger. You'll see that the first couple of times I'm just giving details on the products. And then on the third occasion, I'm giving our special message and offering a coupon to the user. Attributes are really powerful ways of remembering things about a customer. Sorry, I think we had a little bit of an interruption there. You should be back online with me now. Give us any comments in live chat if you're not getting the stream, but everything should be working. We're just about to start our third flow. We're going to configure a flow that allows customers to contact the human agent directly inside the messenger interface. We'll offer an option to talk to us. First, we have the trigger. We're going to trigger on the key phrase talk to us, talk, and also reply. You'll see why that last word is important shortly. Next, we'll ask a question asking the customer for further information about their query. And next, we'll configure an action to send a message to a human agent, in this case in Gmail, with the messaging action. And we'll pass on the customer's answer to the previous question, which was, what would you like help about? We also add two shortcuts, the first being reply to human. You remember that we used reply as a trigger for this flow. And we'll also have speak to bot. A big thing to note here, I've used Gmail, but it's easy to see how this would function easily with Zendesk, with Help Scout, with Freshdesk, or any other support ticketing software. The idea is that a ticket will be created directly inside that software and routed accordingly. You can route messages directly from the bot to a live human agent and have them take over the conversation when required. That provides the perfect blend, bot and human interaction, right inside your existing apps. Final thing to do in this flow, we'll send a message to the user, to the customer, to let them know a human agent will be in touch. Again, you need to remember to turn this flow on, and we're ready to run this flow in Messenger. Triggering on the keyword talk. Then over in Gmail, you can see the message that I sent is received, and as the human agent I can reply directly in order to send the message back into the Messenger channel. And there's the response in Messenger. I then have two options which we programmed, which is reply to human, which will cycle this flow again and ask me what I'd like to contact the human agent with, or I can click speak to bot, which you'll see we're going to trigger in our next flow. Sometimes a user will require specific help. They might have an edge case, or they're just struggling to be understood by the bot. Here we'll build a new flow which gives some explicit options. We're going to call it simply help, and it will trigger on the same word. So this is a simple flow that's going to give us some explicit options to ask as a last resort when natural conversation is broken down. We simply want to respond to the trigger with triggers for other flows, so we know the customer will trigger exactly the flow that they want. Again, remember to turn the flow on. And over in Messenger, I can say help to be given those explicit options which will trigger our other flows that we already built. Now let's consider what happens when the bot doesn't understand something that was said to it. We already have a few flows in place that are looking for specific keywords or phrases. So let's catch the case where we give the bot something it won't recognise and gently guide the users back to things that they can ask about, or the help option. We do that with a catch-all. We don't need to give any input here. We're looking for everything that won't trigger another flow. So that means this flow will run in the absence of any other flows being triggered when someone speaks to the bot. So now we'll give some text to the bot, gently guiding the user back to the things that they can ask about, but also letting them know they can explicitly ask help if they really need to. Again, turn this flow on, and if we give the bot something we know it won't understand, we'll see the catch-all text displayed. Revisiting this flow, it'd be really useful to be able to keep track of all the things that are said to the bot that we don't recognise. Like, for instance, another FAQ, opening hours. What is the bot not helping the customer with where it could provide some real benefit to our business? We'll use a FlowXO service integration to Google Sheets to track all the things that are said that trigger the catch-all. We'll use add a row. We'll select our sheet that we set up earlier, just a reminder what that looks like. And we'll populate these inputs which are generated from the sheet. This one's the important one, the caught word or phrase, because it's the message which the bot didn't understand and we triggered the catch-all on. So let's check this out in Messenger. Again, we've triggered the catch-all text, but now you can also see that over in our spreadsheet we've caught that word or phrase for further analysis. This leads us nicely onto next steps. Here you can see we have the basis of a really good bot. It gives us directions to our store and tells the customer what products we stock based on their requirements. It also gives a little nudge with an offer to get people into store when they ask repeatedly about the same thing. From here, it makes sense to answer more frequently asked questions like how to find us, such as opening hours, and give details on more products that we stock. A finishing touch, you might add some of the options you configured to a persistent menu. You do that here. You'll see that when Messenger refreshes, my persistent menu appears. Other things, you might want to consider how you integrate with other services that you're using in the office, mailing tools, CRM platforms or databases. But of course to do that, you'll need more flows that are available on the free edition. So this is it, crunch time. I hope you're seeing how easy it is to get started and those next steps, giving you a good indication of what you'll build next. Here's what pricing looks like. For only $19 a month, you you can build 15 bots or flows and accommodate 2,500 interactions. There's no contract or time period. You can downgrade to a free plan at any time. Because you've been kind enough to watch today, I'd like to sweeten the deal. Here are links to all the flows that we've built out today, so you can install them right away. And I'll also give you a 3 months usage on our standard plan if you sign up in the next 24 hours. You just have to use coupon code FREE4116. Don't forget this video will be online for a short while later, so you can get those links if you need them. Finally, a few resources to be aware of. There are extensive help docs in our help centre at support.flowxo.com. There's a lively community at community.flowxo.com where you can speak to other users and discuss your ideas. We have a constructive blog at Medium, which is medium.com/flowxo. And watch out for hashtag #WhatTheBot on social media to get all the latest bot news.
Thanks for watching. I've really enjoyed building out this bot with you today. Please get signed up and tell me more about your use case. I'll be delighted to help you in building it out. Speak to you soon.